Okay, let's make this one for Barack Obama, Eric Holder, William Barr, William Jefferson Clinton, Hillary Clinton, the Bushes. Let's not leave the Bushes out of this one. And, I don't know, Christopher Wray and Donald J. Trump. And my favorite little gang of hooligans, the Consumer Finance Protection Board, and HUD, and FinCEN over there at U.S. Treasury, and I think I already threw the FBI in there, old Christopher Wray. Now, let's get to the point, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this massive mortgage swindling of the United States and all this money laundering that the big banks have been doing, you got to ask yourself a very simple question. How in the hell do you launder hundreds of billions and trillions of so-called dollars? How's it get laundered, Christopher Wray? How does it in fact get laundered, Mr. William Barr? And Donald J. Trump, when you mix dirty money and you mix clean money together and you mix it all up, and then you loan it out into the subprime mortgage markets to launder it, I think all those subprime mortgages are derived from criminal activity, making all of those mortgages void. You can't use criminally procured funds to finance subprime mortgages. And you can't launder money through subprime mortgages and expect the mortgages to be lawful. Now, you see, ladies and gentlemen, here's my problem in a nutshell. Eric Schneiderman and Eric Holder and Barack Obama, with the Financial Fraud Investigation Task Force, they entered into a great big old settlement with the crookedest banks in the history of the world to bail them out. And Timothy Geithner bailed out, I guess some say they bailed them out for $16 trillion all over the world. Right, Ben Bernanke, Hank Snow, Janet Yellen, Timothy Geithner. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. They had to bail out every bank in the freaking world. Which brings me back to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, and like Andy Lehman of Certified Forensic Loan Auditors. Andy, good morning. I've got a big question for Consumer Finance Protection Board, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. How is it exactly that they determine whether or not a mortgage has been funded with laundered money from like J.P. Morgan Chase, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo, WAMU, Citibank, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs? How is it that Bank of America and all these other banks all over the United States, from Penny Pritzker's Superior Bank and Lincoln Savings and Loan, there you go, and what was the name of that one out there? The Silverado and the Western banks. Let's not leave the old Western banks from Houston, Texas out of this video. Now, some people might look at me and say, wow, that guy looks like Father Time. You know something, ladies and gentlemen? I have been blowing the whistle on this real estate racketeering and financial fraud conspiracy since 1982. That's way, way, way the hell before Occupy Wall Street in 2010. That's for my children. You know, they think the old man was a little Fruit Loops, but in fact and in reality, this old Lake George warrior, this old Glens Falls Indian, I blew the whistle on the biggest financial fraud crime spree in the history of the world. You see, Donald Trump, You can't do all this financial fraud without the real estate transactions. This is how they're stealing it, this is how they're laundering it, and this is how they're stuffing their pockets with it. A whole bunch of bogus, illegal, unlawful mortgage transactions. Hundreds of thousands, in fact millions of them. All over America. You know, get rich quick in real estate. Come on, Donald Trump, come on down. Bring Hillary Clinton, bring Bill Clinton, bring the whole bunch of them with you. Bring Eric Schneiderman, come on down, you son of a bitch. Eric Holder, you son of a bitch, bring Barack Obama with you. That slob goes off to Cape Cod and buys him a $15 million mansion. Gee, Barack Obama, how'd you get rich again? And Bill and Hillary Clinton, you know what? All that dirt dealing and flipping and daisy chaining that you were doing with those land deals in Arkansas while you were visiting in the hot tub at the Houstonian Estates with the Bushes in Houston. You didn't think we were going to forget Whitewater and Castle Grande, Maplewood Farms, and those funny little land transactions you had up at Campobello Island. You know, the Arkansas Industrial Development Bank and all that laundered dope money from, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Mena, all the dope that Barry Seal and, Air America, and that whole bunch, man. That whole bunch were flying in and out of Fort Smith and Mena. Right, Bill Clinton? Come on down. Everybody knows you got a nose like a vacuum cleaner, Bill Clinton. And you and your pal Jeffrey Epstein of Epstein and Company, how did he get rich again, Bill Clinton? Come on, Hillary Clinton, let's explain it to everybody with Eric Schneiderman and Loretta Lynch. And there's a whole bunch more of it involved. This massive national fiasco involving unbelievable amounts of money laundering has been going on for decades. And that's going to senior United States District Judge Robert Leon Jordan in Greenville, Tennessee, with, what's his name there? Clifton Corker, Judge Corker, and Judge Poplin, all in Tennessee there in Greenville. You see, folks, bottom line here is you'll notice that there's a law collection behind me, and I've spent a lot of years around real estate. If you got any questions about my background in real estate, go take a look at how my mother and father, our family, developed the East Shores Harbor, the Swamp Marina on Lake George, New York. And what you'll begin to understand is that since, 1960, this kid right here has been up to his neck in mud and money. Worked for some of the largest development companies in the world. Tramwell Crow, top that one. Century Development, top that one. General Homes, U.S. Homes, Ryland Homes, Nash Phillips Copus up at the Woodlands. Pick up the phone and call, Nelda Luce Radabow Blair and call, J.R. Moore. He was the tax assessor and collector there in Montgomery County, Texas for years. Call J.R. Moore up and ask him what Judd Witham knows about real estate fraud. Judge Barb Sadler, Senior Federal District Judge Lynn Hughes. Let's not forget to bring Judge, from Baker and Botts. I forget her name. I'll move on here. It's not important. It's not important. This massive robbery of planet Earth using all these funny real estate deals. Come on, Donald J. Trump. Let's talk about the triad development gang of Khashoggi, Bin Laden, Gabanafar, in the bushes there at the old, Lamar Terrace up there, uptown Houston. We can discuss uptown Houston and the Trump princess and the Bin Laden fuel ministers that ran the airport next to Ellington Air Force Base. Right, George Bush Jr.? Come on, George Bush Jr., let's have a discussion on how the hell it is that BB&T Bank robbed its depositors in the FDIC and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for billions. BB&T Bank, the Bush clan. And Madison Guarantee, oh God, the McDougalls, everybody remembers the McDougalls. And on a closing note here, I want to drop a name in here because it's important. There's a really nice woman over in Tennessee. Her name's Jacqueline Birchfield. And her family got suckered big time by good old Cugno and Company. Gerald Cugno, premier, pioneer, and paramount mortgage brokering. They had 1,140, I take that back. They had 1,151 offices all over the United States and over 7,000 mortgage brokers. And guess what? The old Cugno Mafia from Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Jersey. He's a come on, Gerald Cugno. You're a mafia guy. Cugno mortgage brokering. What a freaking joke. And they all got shut down for fraud. Now, to my little friend over there in Tennessee, Jacqueline Birchfield, you know, Judge Corker and Poplin and Judge Jordan, they know damn well that this money laundering stuff does not make a legal mortgage. And so don't the attorneys for Baker and Nelson there. And, or then Baker, yeah, whatever the hell their name is there. Nelson and Mullers and Baker and something or other. I forget what the other one is there. They're clowns. They're just absolute clowns. They've been using real estate, flipping and churning and daisy chaining and money laundering and parking funds in this subprime account and moving money through that subprime foreclosure racket. Baker and Donaldson, there you go. Baker and Donaldson, Nelson and Mullins. The clowns of the federal courts in Greenville, Tennessee. You're caught. Your freaking clients have got a freaking rap sheet 100 miles long. The people behind the mortgages, these subprime swindles, man, they've been busted for huge amounts of money laundering that would stagger your mind. They're criminals with rap sheets 100 miles long. Come on, Judge Jordan. You think the research team wasn't going to find out? Now, I'm just going to tell you flat out. There's a motion to recuse Judge Robert Leon Jordan. There's a motion to recuse because for some odd, strange reason, they're just dragging their feet and stalling this case for everything it's worth. That's case number 2, semicolon, 19-CV-005. It's a Bank Secrecies Act conspiracy racketeering case involving laundering money through the subprime mortgage markets using illegal as hell, unconstitutional as hell, subprime foreclosure practices. Now, to end this one up, because I'm starting to drag on a little bit, these real estate schemes and real estate scams have been going on in America for decades. It happened back in the early 19-teens. It happened in the late 1800s. It's happened all through the 19th and 20th century. Real estate, stealing trillions and laundering it all and stuffing their pockets with it. Evading taxes, going offshore. You know, the Panama Papers. The Panama Papers are involved in this nonsense, and you want to talk about a deep-ass swamp. and the financing of the deep state, bring that little rat-fink son of a bitch Trey Gowdy down. He's working with Nelson and Mullins now. He's representing Deutsche Bank. Trey Gowdy, you rat-fink son of a bitch. Two-faced. Man, you just blow it right out your butt, Trey Gowdy. And there's a bunch more of them, like Comey and Mueller and Stotts and that whole bunch around freaking this giant corruption at FBI. The FBI and the Department of Justice have been propping these sons of bitches up since the 1960s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Barack Obama, old buddy, where'd you get that 15 million bucks? Did it come from that $25 billion hush money payment? I said that correctly, Andrew Lehman. That $25 billion hush money payoff that you and Eric Schneiderman and Eric Holder negotiated with the biggest organized criminals in the history of the world. Come on, Barack Obama. Come on down with Hillary Clinton and Bill and bring George Bush Jr. with you. And let's have a discussion about real estate, scheming and scamming. And don't forget to bring Donald J. Trump with you. He's a real estate magnate, right, Donald? You understand that you can't take dirty money and mix it in with clean money and then, fund you a whole bunch of American mortgages. And Andrew Lehman, old buddy, that's just exactly the way it is. Now that federal judge, I forgot her name earlier in the video. Her name is Lee Rosenthal. And you know something, Judge Lee Rosenthal? How long did you think I was going to take to figure out you came out of Baker and Botts? That you worked with Jimmy Baker, the Secretary of State at his law firm in Houston, and you were running cover for the Clintons and Joanna Herring King and Congressman Charlie Wilson and that whole damn bunch of criminals, Judge Stephen McKeithen. Come on down, Judge McKeithen. We want to talk a little bit about the cardinal rules of statutory interpretation and the cardinal rules of statutory construction and legislative history. Let's talk about all those funny little land developments all over Texas, all over Florida, all over Georgia, all over the Carolinas, all over New Mexico, California. Oh, Arizona's just full of them. Utah's got so many unrecorded recreational desert subdivisions you can't even believe it. Alaska, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, the Poconos, New England. Florida's full of these damn things. Excuse me. Florida's full of them. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, long before Occupy Wall Street, this guy right here was in the Houston Chronicle, the Houston Post. I was all over the television networks down in Houston as the FBI and the Department of Justice and the United States Secret Service did everything they could to shut me up. You see, Donald Trump, you're not the only person in the history of America that's been targeted for underhanded political reasons and to shut up a whistleblower. See, they don't want you to know about how they finance the deep state. They don't want you to know that all these missing looted trillions are financing more congressmen and senators and judges and sheriffs, and it just goes on and on. County prosecutors. There's so much money slopping around in this real estate swamp, bank looting, mortgage swindling swamp, it staggers the mind. Right, Barack Obama? Right, Loretta Lynch? Oh, God, Loretta Lynch is down there just hyperventilating with Eric Holder and Eric Schneiderman because you sorry sons of bitches did nothing but cover up for the bankers. Right, Hillary? Come on, Bill, tell them. George Bush Jr., you want to talk about it, Marvin? Bring Neil Bush with you. And Charlie Keating and all the other ones. So to my friend Andrew Lehman, in your little dust up there with the Consumer Finance Protection Board, tell the Consumer Finance Protection Board to produce all the records that I've demanded from them under Freedom of Information. And tell HUD and FHA and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to do the same thing. And let's see just exactly how much dirty money has been commingled with clean money and screwed the American public in hundreds of thousands, millions of mortgages. Judge Robert Leon Jordan. And I know he's probably not particularly pleased with the research team, but I'm going to tell you something, Robert Leon Jordan. This massive, mind-bending, mind-staggering history of real estate fraud in the United States, it's as real as it gets. And this guy right here, the whistleblower, the Quiet Tom whistleblower, Judson Witham, with his friend Jacqueline Birchfield, cause number 219-CV-005, Greenville, Tennessee Federal Court. Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, J.P. Morgan Chase are the biggest outlaws, money laundering manure in the history of the world. Judge Robert Leon Jordan. And that's the record, folks. And folks, a whole bunch of information posted below. The information associated with this video is available copiously to the world. And people, I have contacts all over the world, and people from north to south and east to west know that the research team means business. Ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving it right there. And as always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha we're coming back.